Let's break down breakout cables, what they are, how they work, and when you should use them. I'm Gigabyte, and I talk all things network and security. Have you ever dealt with limited ports on your switch? Well, that's where breakout cables come in. A breakout cable can take a single high-speed port, like a 100 gig port, and split it into a bunch of lower speed connections, like four 25 gig ports. There are typically three types of breakout cables: DAC, AOC, and fiber breakouts. All right, so we'll start with the first one, DAC, or as I call it, DAC. Also stands for direct attached cable. Now I've got one right here. It is made out of copper inside of here, similar to an Ethernet cable. It is really durable. It's the cheapest of all the options. It is fixed in length. We've got those transceivers on the end, so you can't change it after you buy it. You can go about up to 7 meters with certain ones that you've got. It's really good for being within the same rack. The next one that we have is one that I actually don't have in my lab. It's AOC, or active optical cable. No, not that AOC. It is using fiber, similar to this here, but it does have transceivers on the end, as opposed to this one, which I'll talk about in just a second. Because it's built with fiber on the inside, it is less durable and a bit more expensive. It does get the ability to go up to further distances, say up to like 30 meters. But it is, again, because we have those transceivers on the end, it is a fixed length. So really probably just for the same room, but for a longer distance in between racks. And then finally, we have our fiber breakout, which will probably be the most similar to what you're used to dealing with. Now I have one here. We've got some LC connectors on this side, and we have an MPO connector on this side. It's just your typical fiber cable, but shortly after it comes out of the MPO side, it breaks out right here into 4 separate cables. Now this is, again, fiber, so it is, again, the least durable of these options. It is the most expensive because this does not include transceivers. We do still need to buy a transceiver for the MPO side and the SFP side. So we are going to have added cost, but that's going to also allow us to do further distances because we'll be able to patch it into actual regular fiber. So we'll be able to go from, a multi-mode 300 meters, or single mode we can go up to 10 kilometers. So that's also going to allow us to have that modular length. So depending on how far it is, you can get it exactly what you want. So really a great option for going in between rooms or in between different buildings. So the most common breakouts that we're going to see is going to be one side having 40 gigs and then the other 4 sides having 10 gigs. We've got what I had shown earlier, which is 100 gig over to 4 of the 25 gig. But you've even got all the way up to 200 or 400 gig on one side, and then 4 of the 50 or 100 gig. Now that doesn't cover everything. There's definitely more things out there. I've even seen one for breaking out 100 gig into 10 gig ports. I don't know everything about this, so I'm sure there's plenty more options out there. So why even use these different things? Well, the biggest reason is to get more port density. Typically, you'll only have a handful of these really high throughput ports, but you may not have that in between different devices. And so being able to use one port to connect to potentially 4 different devices is going to really help you. Especially when we're talking about a copper DAC, we're going to be talking about a really cost-efficient solution. And this really helps to make your network design a lot more flexible. And then the main reason why we wouldn't want to use these is simply just lack of support on certain switches. This is typically only going to be allowed on larger switches that are going to support that. You should really check that before you buy it. You may even need some licensing or special firmware. So definitely go check out that vendor's documentation and make sure that things work with that. So breakout cables can be a game changer in optimizing your network. Have you used breakout cables before? And if not, would this have been helpful to have? Please drop a comment below with your experiences. I'd love to hear it. As always, I hope this has been helpful for you, and we'll see you next time.